Okay, well, we've finally done it. We are here together with my special friend, Katherine Osgood. Katherine, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy that we were able to do this, and we just have a time of excitement, and I want to hear all about you so others can also hear about the wonderful things that you are doing as well. So without any further ado, if you don't mind starting, just tell us a little bit about who you are, kind of the who, what, when, where about Katherine.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kim. And we've been such good friends for a long time. We met in China. And before I had come to China, I had begun my career in my 20s teaching elementary education in Green Cove Springs, Florida, actually in Jacksonville and Green Cove Springs. And so I had many years doing that. I worked in Clay County for 10 years, then in Duval County, and did a little bit of training in the corporate environment for AT&T, which was wonderful. And then by chance, we met in China, where we were teaching at CIAS International University. And we had the wonderful privilege of working together, of experiencing cross-cultural communication, of experiencing so many people from diverse backgrounds working together. And I believe that that's what really brought us close and caused us to enjoy times of talking together about how we could influence and support this next generation coming up. So that's basically what I've been about in the last several years.
You've been such an inspiration to, I can literally say, over a 10-year period, knowing each other in China, thousands, you've influenced thousands of students, not only students, Katherine, but faculty as well. And you have been an inspiration to so many, more than you would ever know, because not many people are often going to share all the goodness with you that you've shared with them. You have always been a bright inspiration to so many. Everyone knows you, even our students, even if they're not our students, your students, everyone has always known you. So that's why I thought it was so important for others to know exactly how you have imparted such wonderful portions of your life, your dedication into global education. And so I'm so glad to be able to know you over these years. The other thing that you have done, your resume is quite intensive, and you have a great background in every level of education, having to do with university, K through 12, you've done training, so you're very well versed in connecting with people. However, I wanted to talk to you about this one special gift that you do have, and that is your writing. Let's talk a little bit about the different poems and what's inspired you to have a voice, putting pen to rhythm and words.
I think that a lot of it has been meeting people like you who can so see the big picture. And I'm a focus on some of the small parts kind of person. And it's been very instrumental and encouraging to me to see someone like you put it all together and to begin to see the value of the full picture. So writing for me has been a pouring out of what's in my heart, and sometimes even an expression of excitement for what might be next. So it's kind of been a clarion call of hope many times.
I love that. I love that. Do you have a recollection of the first poem you ever wrote? I mean, like what age were you? Were you a kid? Did it kind of start there? Or was it something that you developed as you became an adult?
That's a funny question. I can't believe you asked it. Yes, I do remember my first poem, and I was in 5th grade, and I was accused of plagiarism. And the poem was real simple. It was about patriotism. So it was when I think of independence, I think of wars we fought. I think of independence and how it was bought. I think of all the men that gave their lives to win our nation and our freedom and everything therein.
Oh,
And Yeah, I wrote that when I was in 5th grade. And when I was walking home after being accused of plagiarism, I thought, maybe I'm pretty good at this. So I've never stopped writing.
Wow. And look at this. I'm not going to say how many years later, but look at the total recollection that you have on that. Man, I think our young people need to hear that. I think that's something that you need to bring back into focus. What an inspiration that can be as far as, especially now with young people being at home and not having, maybe new hobbies to explore. I think that that could be something, a writing of poetry could definitely be something to inspire. So with that being said, there are many times that we'll have a conversation and you will bless me with a song or you will bless me with a rap. Of course, you are the rap champion of China. You are well known for pulling up a rap to a birthday rap over the years. Those are some of the most dynamic, wonderful memories that most people will have when they do get to know you. But this past week, you shared a new piece that I was most impressed with. And before I have you read that, can you tell me what inspired that particular piece?
Mm, I'm looking at it now. It's called Right Here, Right Now. And I was actually listening to Amy Grant, and she was just musing last weekend about how odd everything is in the world today and how it's very difficult to even place a parenthesis around any part of life right now, and that it takes a moment just to take a breath and begin to process everything that's going on. And so as she was talking, this began to bubble up inside of my heart. Right here, right now, we got to try to get our mind about around things that are happening. And it's very important that the young generation have their voice too. We need everybody. We need
Absolutely.
everybody participating.
Absolutely. Yeah. So with that being said, do you mind sharing your poem with us all?
No, that would be my pleasure. I'm just pulling it up here. It's called Right Here, Right Now. So our circumstance is how we live, and your word is who we are. All the disparate rumblings in our brain can't carry us too far, but if we take a breath and instruct our heart from what we know is true, we can be assured that even in the midst of storms, we will be found in you. The shakings, yes, the shakings threaten to destroy our lives' foundations. They are not limited to our geography, but encompassing the nations. The word told us that this would come, and we philosophized and guessed. We, the chosen ones of God, would just observe because we are blessed. Yet here I am in my room with my mind conjuring many schemes. Yet there is only one who is omnipotent and who I trust to hold my dreams. Only one who spoke his word and the planets took their place. Only one who was disobeyed defiantly and who responded with pure grace. Only one that we would only one who before creation knew all that we would do and planned this extravagant world because he so loves me and you. Right here, right now, I know the truth. I know I'm weak and small, and I know that I am always safe in trusting my mighty God of all.
Wow, bravo, bravo. That is awe-inspiring and it's so timely. I love that it does really reflect some of the thoughts and areas of hope that I think a lot of us are experiencing right now. And I love how you draw your inspiration from, Amy Grant is someone that was for some of us at a certain time and age, she was awe-inspiring as far as Christian music and Christian contemporary music. And so she really has a place in my heart, your heart, I know for sure. So it's always nice to regroup and to get back involved with those that have inspired us, and just to know that from her sharing, look what has evolved and into this beautiful work and this piece that you've given us. It's lovely. And for any of you that might be interested in getting a copy of it, I know that I always love to get a copy of some of Katherine's poetry. So we can make that available for you, just to have that as just the hope and just the thought of really what's going on right here and right now. So you're the best, and I just want to keep you going on keeping this fresh work of art and artistry alive. It's so heartfelt, and we need that. We need a fresh breath of inspiration. And so you've certainly given us that, Katherine. So with that being said, what's your hope next for you personally, maybe next in our community, maybe just kind of next in our families? What do you see as far as the hope that can arise out of the right here, right now?
After so many conversations with you and dreaming about these things, I think a big part of it is realizing that we're on the stage now. We're educators. We have had a voice to guide and direct a lot of young minds, but now we get the privilege of really welcoming them on the world stage and saying, now is your time to begin to find your voice, to test it out, to trust some of us that are older, to listen and to guide, not direct, but guide. And seeing your ability to bring these things together is amazing. For those of you that don't know, Dr. Kim teaches a class where she has had her students write a book, and it's amazing what she brings out of them. So you have stirred something in me to want to do that also, to bring out what has been ruminating in their hearts and what they've almost been afraid to say, but to say, no, come on, now's the time, because we need it. We need to hear your voice.
Wow, that's very impressive to hear. Certain things that we do that we're passionate about, we don't really get to see it outside of our own hearts. So that means a lot to see that, just like I see the works in you that are so beneficial to others. And I think that that's what we really have in common, where we're able to just kind of bring out the best in others and to support each other. I think that that's really been my goal in really establishing this experience, of which I call it the I am her experience, because I think each of us, we have something to share, whether or not it's quiet support, or if it is vocal, or if it's in our professions. And so I think that we need to provide that particular platform. I guess as educators, I guess that's the part in me that I really want to see this to continue. And so my goal is to help reach and to inspire and captivate these goals and gifts that we mature women may have as well, as to be able to bring that into others. So, in one of my classes, I guess, me returning back from China last August, was kind of a re-entry for us, and a little different perspective of where we have to re-grasp what's really going on, maybe in the
Yes.
US, right? And that re-entry and that reverse culture shock, it does exist, whether people realize it or not. But one of the things that I had a conversation with my students about had to do with, there are now 5 current generations that we have to be able to get along with and to understand, wow, and to glean from. And of course, it is the post-war babies. There are the baby boomers. There's the millennials. There's the Generation X, there's the Generation Z. And with that, we're learning that we all have something to say. And one of the main things that responses, I guess, that I would get from my students would be that, you know, the young people don't feel that they have a voice into the older generation at this particular point. And, you know, I hear it vice versa, whereas the older generation feels that the younger generation doesn't want to take the information and advice, you know, there as well. So with that, what would be an idea, or what is your perspective on merging these five generations in our culture today?
I loved the movie Sister Act, and especially Sister Act 2 with Whoopi Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought one of the most powerful scenes was when she was getting these students together and trying to get them to harmonize. And the first thing she told them that they must do is listen. And I think that if we don't listen, then the merging of all these voices is discordant. It can't be even really understood. But if we can set a stage of trust and allow the students and the young people to hear that we do understand a lot more than they think that we do, and if we can just be patient, we will provide the bedrock or the melodic undertones that will carry what they have. So I think a lot of it is the listening, the patience, and the trust that says your voice is so important. Let's just take a moment and bring a little bit of clarity to your voice and practice how to present it.
Wow. Wow. That's really good. Absolutely. And, you know, my experience in having such a desire to specifically teach higher ed, just because I feel that I can have a conversation there,
Right.
and, you know, making myself vulnerable, you know, and allowing them to see some of my mistakes right there while we're, you know, going through it in the classroom, you know, which is something that most professors don't really want their students to see their vulnerable side.
Right.
But I have found that, you know, it kind of helps me keep myself anchored in just the truth of who I am. And I guess I just kind of use that as, you know, having a dialogue and keeping it real, you know, it's about who we are, being willing to share my mistakes when I was young, when I was their age, and just kind of bringing it in there. But what you specifically said at the beginning is, I believe, is key. It's the listening, you know, where I've had to learn to listen better, you know, and really that's really what that drives me, is when I do listen and hear some of these things, and it kind of resonates some past experiences that I've gone through maybe, and then just kind of taking it from there. So I totally agree with you as far as the listening is really key. So we're kind of coming to the end, and of course we're going to have to do this again, Katherine, because
Yes.
we have so much to say, and maybe we can try to find some other experts and some of our other educators that are interested in just having this conversation in order to promote our goals, our dreams, and helping to just merge the younger generation, the mid generation, and the younger generation as well. I know currently you have been experiencing teaching, as we all at this point in our circumstances, online, and having this online presence and distance learning. Can we kind of finalize, you know, in conclusion, just kind of have a little bit of dialogue about that as far as your experience? You know, current, and maybe some suggestions of how we as educators can can improve upon that or help to speak into improving it?
Sure. Right now, we're in the middle of the pandemic has caused so many ripples in our society, and one of them is in education. And we had like 3 days to put together a plan to create an online platform for education. And it has not, in my experience, been real smooth, because so much of online education is geared towards older students. I teach second grade, yet they're trying really hard, but it's shaking up families, the ability to earn an income, the ability for students to attend to school, and really, in some ways, the efficiency of the school process as we now know it. I mean, our school day is 7.5 hours. We don't have enough online work to keep those kids busy for 7.5 hours, and it would burn them out. So I think we have to ask some really important questions. What do we want these children to learn? What's the best way that they can learn? We know that when they talk together, when they have an opportunity to process and learn to listen, that's invaluable. How do we bring that into an online environment? My students are sharp. They already know how to mute each other. It's like, so let's not try to mute, let's try to listen. So we have some opportunities to expand the parameters of online learning that will open up opportunities for these students to experience things that they will for the rest of their lives.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that is definitely some valuable information coming from someone with your experience and just your personal attentiveness to education and to young people in general. So, we can go on for hours, no doubt, Katherine, but I just wanted to thank you so much for providing this time to share and just kind of launch this new concept of just kind of the meeting of hearts and minds and souls and women and educators and individuals that do have professional gifts, personal gifts that they want to share as their experience that others can glean from. And so I so appreciate you taking the time out of your ever so busy and creative day and just to speak with me and giving me this opportunity to share your experience with so many others. So with that being said, Katherine, thank you so much. And do you have any final thoughts that you wanted to share before we take this out?
No, thank you for all that you are, because you were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me, lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith because you believed I'm everything I am because you loved me. Thank you for loving me and for loving this new generation coming up, and we will work together to continue to make a road for them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you had to go there, right? Yeah, that song is special. We have been there. Thank you so much, Katherine. Until next time, sweetie, okay?
Thank you very much.
All righty. And to everyone listening and that has tuned in, thank you so much for joining the I Am Her experience. Look for us and see what else is coming. You never know what's going to turn up around here. So thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.